Hello and welcome to Total Packers with Matt LaFleur, presented by Software One. Larry McCarren along with the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. And Matt, what can you tell us about the condition of Jordan Love and the plan moving forward?
Well, I'd say we got pretty good news. We got lucky that it wasn't more serious. Certainly that injury looked pretty gruesome on TV and in person. It was a scary moment for us, but I'd say it's more day-to-day than anything, and he's going to continue to do everything he can to get back on the field as soon as possible, and we got great resources around here. But in the meantime, if he's not able to go, then Malik Willis will be able to be the guy.
And do you feel Malik is ready for that spot?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's been preparing to the best of his ability, preparing like he's a starter each and every week. And he's a smart guy that's put in the work, that's put in the time, that's picked everything up pretty quickly. So I'll be excited for his opportunity.
Okay, Matt, when you put the Eagles game underneath the coaching microscope, what'd you see?
Just too many mistakes. We didn't capitalize on the takeaways, and then, we had 9 points off 3 takeaways where Philly got 7 off our lone giveaway. So I think that was ultimately the difference, our inability to score in the red zone. They're a good football team with a lot of star players, and you can't make those mistakes against a really good football team and expect to win the game.
The red zone problems, were they more a case of what you guys didn't do or what the Eagles were doing?
Well, I think we had a lot of penalties down there, and I think that contributed, obviously. And again, Philly's a really good defense with a really good pass rush, and they're really good up front. We didn't do a great job of blocking movement to generate some run yards. You have to be able to run the ball down there effectively in order to score touchdowns.
You mentioned the penalties. Sometimes they're a result of just playing the game. They're almost understandable. Were your penalties, I guess there were 10 of them, were your penalties in general that kind of problem, or the kind of problem where better technique, better concentration solves it?
I think all of the above. I think there were some that certainly our techniques weren't right, and we got called for some holding penalties. And then there were some focus problems in terms of just some pre-snap penalties that are totally within our control.
The rushing stats say you ran the ball well, like 163 yards worth. Did you feel like that part of the game really held up for you?
I think early on it was a struggle. I think we got better as the game went on. We got a lot of explosive runs. We had 5 explosive runs. So we had 5 of those, and I think that skewed the yards per carry. I think our run efficiency, there's a lot of room for improvement there.
Jayden Reed, 171 yards on just 5 touches. It seemed like every time he touched the ball, he did something special.
Yeah, he's a dynamic playmaker. He's tough with the ball in his hands, and certainly he had another big explosive play where we had 12 men on the field, and that's something that obviously is within our control, trying to jump the count when they had 12 men on the field. But yeah, what a performance by him. Tough, gritty, competitive, exactly what we're looking for from that position.
Matt, you guys had over 400 yards of offense, but so did the Eagles. How did you look at your defensive performance?
Well, there were so many great moments. However, we gave up a lot of big plays. Saquon got loose on us, and I think what's encouraging is when you watch the tape, yeah, they're gonna make some big plays.
Lots of offensive firepower.
Yeah. You got Jalen Hurts, Saquon, obviously. A.J. Brown, so they've got a lot of firepower that they're going to get theirs at times, but I think that there were a lot of things that are within our control that we can correct to negate some of those big time plays that they were able to make.
Now in the fourth quarter, they had a drive, 16 plays, 67 yards each, 7:25 off the clock. Resulted in just a field goal, but did you find that drive and not being able to get back on the field offensively kind of frustrating?
Yeah, I'd say so. They were able to eat up the entire clock, essentially, and we had 2 big penalties on that drive. We had a 2nd and 12 where we got called for holding, and we had a 3rd and 7 where we got called for another defensive holding. So you can't have those critical penalties in those critical situations and expect to win a football game against a really good opponent.
Rookie Javon Bullard makes his very first regular season start at safety. How do you hold up for you?
I thought he did an outstanding job. Just the number of plays he played, I thought he played fast, I thought he played physical. And so, yeah, I'm excited about him as a football player.
Braden Narveson, your new kicker, made 3 but missed 1, a makeable kick. So is the jury still out?
Well, he's a young player, and unfortunately we're going to have to probably live through some of that. But he's a guy that I just love how he approaches the game and how he goes out there and he attacks the football.
Basically, you're one play away against a real good team, and there are a number of, we've discussed them, of unforced errors. What does that tell you about your football team ending up one play away?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you play in this league, you're disappointed when you don't come out on top, but certainly it's a long season. We have got to see the improvement from week 1 to week 2, and we got to be urgent in our process. I think you win the game throughout the course of the week. It's just not on Sunday or in this instance on Friday night, but we got to make our corrections and we got to make them quickly.
Thank you, Matt. Coming up, Jayden Reed, the guy making all those big plays. He's next.
First down, Jayden Reed. Who says the Packers don't have a true number 1 receiver?
I mean, I live it really, everything that comes with it. I want to do it to make myself the best player I can be. Just a competitive edge, this is all I really know. So I grew up playing it. There's nothing else I'd rather be doing.
Jayden Reed cannot be tackled tonight. Total Packers with Matt LaFleur is brought to you by your local Chevy dealers, by Bellin Health, and by Johnsonville. Welcome back. This one-on-one is brought to you by Brew Pub, lots of matzo pizza. Jayden Reed cannot be tackled tonight.
He's got his man. Electric. Make a man miss. Goodbye. Touchdown.
Let's talk about Jayden. 5 catches, 171 yards, 2 touchdowns. I would call that a fast start. What would Jayden call it?
Man, just, ways to get better, never get complacent. Just finding ways to elevate and be even better than that. Just be better for my team. I still had a lot of things that I can work on in the game as far as blocking and stuff like that. So just never getting complacent about anything and just keep finding ways to get better.
Jayden, you play like you really, really like football.
Yes, sir.
What do you like about it?
I mean, I live it really, everything that comes with it. I want to do it to make myself the best player I can be. Just a competitive edge, this is all I really know. So I grew up playing it. There's nothing else I'd rather be doing, so.
What will you guys take from the Eagles game so they can move forward productively?
Take both the good and the bad things that happened out there and just try to be better from it. Make those things better, even the good things better.
Give me a first-hand account of the 33-yard round you took in for a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan gave me the handoff, and I had some great blocks around the edge. I had to cut it up a little bit. But, after that, it's just being a football player, making guys miss and, finishing to the end zone.
Speaking of which, you ran right through the tackle attempt of Zach Vaughn, who had like 100 tackles that night. You ran right through it. How do you do that?
Man, just playing fast, man. Not being hesitant, and that's the most important thing about me, man. I like to just play fast and not think too much. So that's kind of how I got through it.
Hands off, Jayden Reed around the right end. Reed makes a turn, flip the defender. 15, 10, 5, touchdown.
Yes!
Jayden Reed.
Ran right through an Eagle tackle attempt to score a touchdown.
Tell me about the 70-yard touchdown catch. Number one, how'd you get so open?
That's great play calling by the coaches, man. We just went out there and executed the job, and they called a great play against their coverage, and it's just making a guy miss and then doing the rest and scoring.
Fires late, deep down the right side. Jayden Reed's got it. He's gone to the house. High-stepping, end zone, touchdown, Green Bay Packers. Wow!
You are no secret. Last year you led the team in catches, yards, touchdowns, and somehow you're running free deep in the open field. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yo, I mean, that just goes to tell you how many playmakers we have, man. You got to watch out for everybody, you know. Just like last year, it was any given week, a guy was to step up and, you know, show out. So we just got to keep moving that way, and, you know, we're a hard group to stop.
Your last catch, 33-yarder, critical moment in the game. How did you stay in bounds?
Man, really another good play call and a great pass by Jordan. He put it right where I could get it, where nobody else could, and, you know, I just had to focus on reeling the ball in and staying in bounds, you know, just to keep the chains moving.
Lofts it left side for Reed, leaping grab, knocked down out of bounds. And are they ruling a completion? Yes, they are.
One last question for you. After a game like you had against the Eagles, what do you do for an encore against the Colts?
Man, you know, I went back to the film and watched the Colts. You know, I watched their game first, and then I ended up watching the film after. Really just knowing my opponent, really it starts there. And then, you know, just attacking the week like I always do. Just having that mindset going into the game.
Welcome back. This week's Chalk Talk is brought to you by Network Health. Jayden Reed, 5 touches, 171 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And now the rest of the story. When Jayden was not doing amazing things with the football in his hands, he was helping his teammates, like right here. Jayden's at the top of your screen. And since he's not the receiver on the play, he turns blocker, and he's blocking C.J. Gardner-Johnson and blocking him well. They're out of the picture. For what happens next, let's change angles. And here is Jayden, and there is C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Gardner-Johnson initiates contact, actually pokes Jayden's mouth guard out of his mouth, and the two have words, and those words continue, and finally cooler heads prevail. Jayden explains.
He's probably the most trash-talking player I ever played before, but I don't think I can say the words on here, but he did rip my mouthpiece out. That's just, you know, my instincts, you know, just to turn and block. I trust my teammates, you know, that Tuck, you know, some of those plays, he would go up down the sideline and score those. So, you know, that's just my mindset. It's just, you know, not just thinking of myself, you know, but my teammates as well.
Later in the third quarter, Jayden is like a pulling wide receiver. Actually slips a little bit, but he bounces up looking for somebody to block, and he finds somebody. None other than C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Now Jayden has a bone to pick with him, and he picks it. He stays after Gardner-Johnson until he puts him flat on his back. One more time, just for fun, flat on his back. That's the rest of the story. Jayden explains.
That's the competitive edge of me, just going out there and compete to the very end, to the last whistle. So that's just the fire I got in me.
Total Packers with Matt LaFleur is brought to you by Network Health, by your Wisconsin Toyota dealers, and by Software One, redefining how companies build, buy, and manage everything in the cloud. The Sargento Touchdowns for Hunger program is back for its 22nd season. When the Packers score a touchdown, Sargento donates $2,000 to fight hunger in Wisconsin. Every Packers touchdown helps defeat hunger thanks to Sargento, the official cheese of the Packers.
Welcome back. And Matt, I want to talk to you about some of your young guys. One of them being Emmanuel Wilson. He seemed to add some juice to your running game when it needed it.
Yeah, I would say so. He had a couple of explosive runs. He was running hard with good pad level, and that's what we need from him.
You also rotated Edgerrin Cooper in there at linebacker. And when he's in there, he shows up and there's some snap, crackle, and pop to his game.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, another young player that's got a lot to learn. Obviously, missing a lot of time in camp really hurt him, but he is an explosive player that's capable of making plays. He really flashed on tape, and you'll see more of him in the future.
Matt, I also want to mention a young coach named Matt LaFleur, because I thought your guys, your team, handled the trip very well. Great representatives of the Green Bay Packers themselves in the National Football League. And I think that all started with your attitude from day one since this trip was announced. You were positive from the get-go, and I think your players reflected that attitude.
Well, I'm glad I'm still a young coach, Larry. I don't feel young anymore. So, yeah, it's the circumstance. We talk about to these guys all the time about being their best regardless of the circumstance. So you really have no other choice but to embrace it. And I do think it was a positive experience. We spent a lot of time together. You get to bond a little bit more. And the people of Brazil were fantastic.
Thank you, Matt. Coming up, the last word from the coach. Don't go away.
Packers down 6. Dobbs wide to the right.
Any football that comes my way, I would rather it be mine.
Love throws right side back shoulder. Leaping grab. Romeo Dobbs. Touchdown. Sensational throw and catch.
To put the team in the best position that we possibly can. And it's just having that dog mentality, you know.
He's got left side. Dobbs is down. Leaping grab. Touchdown. Touchdown.
I think my play style was very all around. You know, I can catch the football. I show up in the run game. I can run routes.
Love retreats. Puts it up for grabs. Romeo Dobbs hangs on at the 11.
I mean, my ultimate goal is just to be the best version of myself.
The last word with Matt LaFleur is brought to you by Construction Business Group and Wisconsin Operating Engineers Local 139.
Welcome back. Time for the last word from the coach. And for your home opener this week, Matt, you have the Indianapolis Colts come to town, coming off a very, very close loss to Houston.
Yeah, it's going to be a good football game. A really good team. They're talented. They're young. Got a lot of respect for Shane Steichen and Gus Bradley, their defense coordinator. These guys fly around when they play with extreme effort. It's going to be a great challenge for us, but one that we're accepting and we'll be ready for.
Of course, most important, the team in the mirror. What do you want to see from your guys this week bouncing back?
I'd say the improvement from week 1 to week 2, just cleaning up a lot of those penalties, taking advantage of opportunities, and I still think there's opportunities out there from the defensive side of the ball to get more takeaways. I think that's going to be pivotal. It is each and every week. If we can do that, I think we'll have a good chance.
Matt, thank you and best of luck against the Colts, and thank you for watching. Until next time, take care.